On the Radio is brought to you by Zurich Insurance, the perfect place to catch up with all things Melbourne. If you enjoy this content and want more inside access from the team, make sure you visit the club website.
Short, off a step, he has a crack at goal. Was it touched? Don't think it was. It's a goal.
Sends the ball inside forward 50, halves, runs, flight of the ball, couldn't mark. Picked up by Petrarca, on the right, kicks, and goal. Off the pack though, Pickett, front his own ball, goes for the goal. Great goal.
Here's Neil Bullen, got it from Spargo. Neil Bullen kicks the goal.
Vaughan just grabs it out, puts it onto his right, and kicks the goal. That's a captain's goal if you've ever seen one.
Welcome back to Sportsday. Whew, still sends tingles down your spine if you're a Melbourne supporter. Now, we don't like using the D word on this show, Gerard, but you were the first one, and I haven't heard it since, in grand final week when I was in Perth last year, to mention the possibility of a dynasty. They're nowhere near that yet, but they're on the right track, the Demons.
Well, it's hard to be on a dynasty track unless you win one. So they've won one. They're at the top of the ladder. So they're in the zone, Leigh. You would know more about the zone of dynasties than anybody else.
Just remind us, what's a dynasty again? What's the definition of a dynasty in footy?
3 flags for me.
It's almost like a bag of goals. It's come down through the years.
Oh, no. 3 flags in any era, Scoop.
2 in a row, I think you could almost argue.
2 in a row you're going with now, are you, Scoop? Well, I guess you got, but Gerard, as you said, you've got to win the first one for get anywhere near a dynasty, don't you?
I reckon our next guest, Leigh, will be taking it 1 week at a time. Simon Goodwin joins us. Welcome to you, Simon.
Evening, Gerard, lads, and Sam and Leigh. Good to be on.
G'day, Simon.
Taking it 1 week at a time, I assume?
Yeah, it's one of those things, and I think when you're in the industry, you know how tough the competition is and how you need to respect it on all levels. And there's no doubt the boys are playing some fantastic footy in the last 12 to 18 months. But we need to maintain that rage and continue improving it better and do it over a sustained period of time. And that's our aim, is to do it over a long period of time.
Hey, Simon, can I just ask you, Gerard and I in the ad break were having a look at games played for the Essendon Fremantle game for another topic. What was your average games played or experience on the weekend?
To be honest, I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
I know last year was sort of one of the younger teams in the competition.
Yeah.
And I think from a real talent perspective, our younger players are still our most important players. And, we've got a critical mass that are sitting in the age of 25 that have played now, 70 to 100 games of footy together. And then we've got a real, really exciting bunch of young players coming through. Your Petty, Pickett, Rivers, those type of guys, Jackson, that are all coming through together as well. So we've got a really good blend of experienced middle-aged guys and also youth coming through our footy club.
Simon, you've won 12 straight now. Obviously, the confidence of Blues high. And I've heard some commentators pop out, they got gears. Whenever they need to find something, they just automatically find it. And I always think that is the most dangerous thing for a footy team to ever think. When in that confidence belief and what you want their mindset to be, particularly when they ran out onto the field for for this week or any other game, where do you want them to be in that confidence belief equation?
Yeah, I guess confidence is one of those things. We want to be a team that just wears opposition teams down, and on the back of our contest and defence, and that's really been the forefront of our thinking in the last couple of seasons, is to make sure that we sustain a level of contest and defence that then is really hard to play against. And at some stage in the game, you'll get your chance to put the foot down and give yourself a chance to win the game. And that sort of seems to be how we play our footy. We defend really strongly. And when we get our chances at the right times, we're going to accelerate the game when needed. But we don't go out there thinking that way. We go out there thinking of playing some really hard, solid contest, defensive-based footy, and the rest sort of comes together at some stage throughout the game.
Goody, when you see Luke Jackson, do you think you've got a midfielder who can play ruck, or do you think you've got a ruck who can play midfield?
I think I've got a pretty special player that can play anywhere.
Yeah.
He's the type of player that we want to make sure that in the last sort of 12 months especially, we've really refined his focus to just playing like a big man. And that's playing as a really strong ruck, but also a strong key forward. But I think you can see throughout his ruck craft, his positioning behind the ball is getting better and better. He's impacting the ball early behind the ball, and his ability to follow up gives you great confidence that he could play as an extra midfielder as well. But we see him as this, rounded player that really has an impact in the ruck first and foremost, and he's going to develop into a really strong, powerful player all around the ground.
Simon, I was just asking Leigh this before you came on, if he was still coaching. In order to mitigate risk against 50-metre penalties, are you advising your players just to pretend the umpires are invisible at the moment?
Yeah, look, we had a really good chat about it a couple of weeks ago. I think in our first JLT game, we learnt a lesson the hard way around, I think we gave 8 50-metre penalties away on that first, game against Carlton in the JLT. So we learned our lesson the hard way about what it looks like. Clearly, we've still got work to do to get it right. And we did a session a couple of weeks ago and, about continuing to educate our players on what it looks like and how we can get better. But, the best thing we say to our players is just get on with the game. Just play the game as best you can. Don't talk back to the umpires. Don't argue with the umpires, and just get on with playing the game. And I think that's where we're trying to get the game to, but it's taking some time.
Are you supportive of what the AFL are trying to do, even if we have to, get rid of the inconsistency early days?
I think when you bring in anything that's new, there's going to be a form of inconsistency and adaptation to what is new, whether it be the stand rule, whether it be umpire dissent, whether it be a range of different things that have been brought in over time. There's going to be a level of time where things take to change, and I think we're seeing that now. And with that, change becomes frustration. Clearly today the AFL are pretty clear that we're staying the course on this one, and we have a role to play in the community around what role modelling looks like for umpires, and we're going to continue down this path. So it's up to now the club, the coaches and the players to adapt to the rules and get better at it.
In and around the rules around the 50-metre penalty and the stand rule, Simon, you feel like every week there's more and more players trying to run it some shape or form, run their teammate run an opponent into the protected area, like just trying to draw the 50-metre penalties. I mean, are you actually doing work on that?
I think that's the nature of the game, is how you can take rules and get an advantage in some form, and it's been going on for all the time that footy's been around, is how can you maximise a rule to get a benefit. And I'm sure there's teams looking at how the best to stand the mark, how the best to draw a 50-metre penalty, and all those things. And I think that once again, these things, once you bring in these rules, it takes time and change, and players, coaches, and footy teams will try and get an advantage in any way they can.
Can I ask you about your selection and how you address it with the players? Because clearly you've got
issues at both ends, Gerard.
Indeed, you've got a plethora of talent. Adam Tomlinson gets dropped. Petty comes back in. You've got 3 trying to go into 2 in the forward line. How do you address it with the players, particularly those who either aren't in the side or are about to get dropped?
Yeah, we focus pretty clearly on team cohesion is one part that we're focusing on, about how the team operates together as a collective first and foremost. But then we also look at developing great players, whether that's at AFL level or VFL level, and we've seen players be able to do that at either level. But clearly it's tight for spots, and selection's very tight, and there's guys that are disappointed. But what they do know is the opportunity that sits in front of them is to continue to perform well, continue to get better, and we want to develop great players at our footy club. And as I said, that can be done at AFL or VFL level, and when they get their opportunity, it's up to them to take it. But it really is about form, it's about cohesion and making sure the team functions well.
And Blake, can I ask you just quick, sorry, Jerry, Simon, on one of your sort of strengths, like your ability to outrun the opposition. That is an enormous belief system if your players believe that. Is that something you remind them all the time, how good of runners they are, like how strong they are late in games? Build that belief that you can outwork them, you'll wear them down?
Yeah, that's probably been built over 4 or 5 years, Leigh. We've worked incredibly hard as a footy club, and that's one of our hallmarks, is we work hard, we train hard, and we prepare as hard as we can, both from a physical nature, which gives us our best chance to do it mentally. And, we know in ourselves that we can outwork and outrun opposition when the time comes. And our players go into the games thinking that if we give it all, we can work hard and we can wear teams down. And that's, not only part of our method, but a part of our physical preparation.
Can I ask you about Ed Langdon, Simon, and maybe just how you think the All-Australian selectors should pick the best wingman in the competition? Because in many ways, they can be doing a magnificent job without the ball in their hand. But this bloke, Ed Langdon, he seems to me at such a high level. If there's a better wingman in the game, I don't know who it is. You've developed him both with his skills and his capacity to run to the places you've got. But have you ever seen in your time in the game someone who can run as hard and as long as him?
I'm pretty biased on this one, Gerard. He's a pretty special player, Ed. We got him initially for his running capacity and to help us in that role, especially from a wing perspective. But his ability to win contests as well, and he's developed his game around his execution by foot and his ability to finish on goal he's as a pure wingman into the game as you get. And there are different types of wingmen that are in the game at the moment, which is great. But from a pure wingman perspective, I think he's one of the best in the competition. I think we're spoilt to have him at our footy club.
And Ben Brown, is he back in this week, or is he still suspended? No, he's only got the 1 week. Have you had an early selection meeting? You'd be really happy to share with us here on Sportsday.
No, we haven't had our selection meeting yet, but no, they're all available. So this one's going to be a tough one. It's we've got some guys that are in form, and we've got some good cohesion. Sam Wiedemann once again has reminded us in the last 2 or 3 weeks that he is a really capable AFL player and really developing well. So, we've got some decisions to make in the next few days around what the team looks like. But, Brownie's available, and he's been one of our better forwards in the last 20-odd weeks. So, he's certainly going to put his hand up pretty strongly.
And Simon, one on you. I know that winning obviously helps, but you spoke quite openly in the rooms beneath Optus Stadium after you won the flag of how close you came to giving coaching away and how unhappy you were at a certain point in your life. How are you now? Are you the happiest you've ever been in your career as you sit here as a premiership coach and top of the ladder?
Oh, I think, as you said, Sam, winning helps. But I think, one thing I went away and worked on was the things that we know where the game become really challenging, the stresses and the pressure and the demands of the industry and the job itself. And I went away and did some work in that space around how to best deal in those things, what I need to give my energy to. Yep. It really brought back the love of the game to footy. And, I love coaching these players. I love coaching the Melbourne Footy Club. And I've got a real love and passion for the game again. And, I couldn't be enjoying myself more. And I think that permeates through the players. And, it's certainly something that's very enjoyable to me.
One of the great truisms, I think, of team sport and coaching, Simon, is if you win 2 out of every 3, you're going great. That never gets any better. Do you ever think now that you've won 12 straight, you might never lose again?
No, the game's too hard for that. We know our challenges are ahead of us, and there's going to be times when we're not playing our best footy. And as we saw throughout the year last year, I think we won 9 in a row to start the season, and through that middle patch of the season, we had our struggles. I think we were 3-3 in a draw, and certainly weren't playing our best footy. So we know our challenges are still to come, both from a personnel form perspective and a whole range of different things. So we're ready for those challenges. We'll welcome them when they come, and hopefully we're playing our best footy at the right time.
And another challenge in what has become a great game, Anzac Day Eve. It'll be a packed crowd, you would think, Gerard and Leigh, at the MCG. Tigers home game taking on the Demons under the lights. Good luck, Simon, and good luck for the rest of the year.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.